Now, Reince Priebus probably has one of the worst jobs in the White House. One of the worst jobs. The worst job, I think that honor actually, unfortunately, goes to Sean Spicer. But that could be coming to an end, not for Spicy, but for Reince Priebus. Now, according to Politico, there's actually been a lot of talk about Donald Trump firing the chief of staff. Now, for example, White House officials and advisors have all labeled him, and I love this, dead man walking. There's no time for Priebus, man. Priebus. Ooh. All right. Anyway, now aides have been speculating about his next job. According to the Washington Post, he might be, I don't know, an ambassador to Greece. It might just be like, hey, go to Greece. Get out of here. Go, 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 go. Just go be an ambassador somewhere. You even have Roger Stone later posting a picture of that country online and labeling it as Priebus's next destination. So Roger Stone, of course, Roger Stone puts out a lot of crazy stuff, and Roger Stone is crazy and he's a serial liar. But anyway, so I guess I don't really take anything Roger Stone does as credible, but still, White House officials kind of want to send him to Greece. Now, what's funny is that they're talking a lot about this, and they're speculating, and they're saying, hey, go off to Greece. But yet, we notice that he's still there, and he's still plugging away, doing his job for the Trump administration. Now, what's funny is the reason why, and this may be the irony of ironies. Priebus may still have his job, because right now, nobody else is dumb enough to take it. I'm serious. Nobody wants this job. It's almost like he's would be trying to replace Sean Spicer, except nobody wants Sean Spicer's job. Interviews with a dozen Trump officials, and here's the details, and advisors suggest few expect Priebus to be long for the West Wing. A Trump advisor said the president has made no secret of his plans to remove Priebus and is in regular communication with a group of outside advisors about who could replace him. Inside the White House, Priebus is considered by some a lame duck chief of staff, soon to be reassigned. New names seem to surface daily, and Trump allies have begun calling Capitol Hill chiefs of staff and asking for potential replacement candidates. But again, they haven't seemed to have found anybody. And I'll get to that later at the end of the story about who they've reached out to try to replace Reince Priebus, this dead man walking. All right. Now, a friend of the president said, quote, "It's basically decided that Reince is gone. It's just a matter of who replaces him and when." Now, of course, the White House, they're like, no, completely fake news, fake news. This is a Lindsay Walters, who's a White House spokesman, said that this was absolute nonsense. Reince is 100% focused on moving the president's agenda forward and doesn't let these false narratives interfere with his commitment to getting results, she said. Critics, however, say Trump does not see Priebus as a peer, and that he doesn't have the personality, temperament, or management experience for the job. Now, where have we heard that before? Oh man, he does not have, he's just not right for the job. He's not doing a good job. He just doesn't have the right temperament. Doesn't bode well for Reince Priebus. Now, one senior White House aide, to show you how badly they think of him in the White House. Quote, "You'd think you'd just do the same thing as Dubke, Mike Dubke, and see the writing on the wall and leave. It's gotten embarrassing." Look, there are a couple of reasons why he's still there, as I'm going to explain. One of them is the fact that White House officials say that Trump has been recently a little less critical to Priebus to his face, sometimes praising him lavishly. You know, basically keeping him around because, like, we don't have anybody lined up and we kind of need a chief of staff. And that Priebus, according to the article, no longer has as many daggers coming at him from within the White House. The other power centers, from Jared Kushner to Steve Bannon, have come to see him as relatively harmless. Oh, there's Priebus. He's a good lapdog. We don't have to worry about him. No, he's not focused on power. He's just listening and doing what he's told. And this is, again, according to several White House officials, he has lately developed something of a rapport with Steve Bannon. Well, take that as you will. Hey, don't worry about that Priebus guy. He is so low energy. He's not even a threat to any of us. Sad, weak, baby. Another reason is that according to several senior administration officials and close advisors, Trump is actually very wary about making a change right now, particularly given increasing pressure from the congressional and FBI investigations into contact between senior Trump associates and Russian officials. And they note that Trump, even with a reputation for being a "you're fired" guy on TV, he actually doesn't like firing people in real life. Quote, "I don't think it's an immediate thing," one person said. "The president doesn't hate Reince," said another friend of Trump who also often talks to Priebus. "It's not like this guy has to get out of here this very minute." Oh, do you hear that? He doesn't like firing people. So that means that when he does fire people, he does it for completely 100% legitimate job reasons and not bullshit, right? Just asking. Just want to know. Like, for example, Comey showboating. That had to have, like, that was the reason. He said it. He said it. I didn't say it. He said it. So he doesn't actually have to leave immediately. So that's why he's not getting fired. So basically, Trump's just kind of saying, "Hey, look, man, there's the exit. Any time would be nice, but hey, man, not too fast though, because I don't have anybody to replace you." It's like Priebus is so incredibly fragile at this point because of the stress of the job that maybe they're afraid of sending him on some sort of mental break. I don't know, which would be hilarious. Now, Politico writes, the drama of being in that White House is weighing on Priebus. He is sometimes obsessed with his media coverage, several people close to him say, and spends hours some days worrying about it. He will even review posts on Twitter that mention his name and urge White House officials to push back against him. He has even begun asking people who speak to the president what they're talking to Trump about. He has asked associates to say positive things to Trump about him. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's incredibly sad. Oh my God. Hey, did you talk to Trump? Could you say nice things about me, please? I mean, I could use a boost, man. Really. That's so sad. One friend described him as, quote, tired, just tired. And he has told people that he hopes to make it through the year. You ain't gonna make it through the year, dude. Look, we'll be honest. I don't even know if the Trump administration is gonna make it through the year. But you probably are not gonna make it through the year. It is long past time for Baileys in your cereal. Points to anybody who gets that reference. One of his friends actually said he does not have the ability to walk into the Oval Office, close the door, and tell Trump what he wants to hear. So, yeah. I gotta give him points for, like, not going into Trump's office and saying complete bullshit, right? Like, oh yeah, Trump, your approval ratings are fantastic. Your inauguration was the biggest ever. No, you got to give him some points for actually being honest with Trump, and that's why Trump hates him. Well, doesn't hate him, but doesn't want him around. He likes being surrounded by people who tell him yes at everything. He likes to be surrounded by people who will do everything that he says that they should do. Now, look, to his credit, as I said, it takes a lot to be a yes, to not be a yes man in the White House. And as far as the stress of the White House, look, the job, the people around Trump have been given an impossible job. I mean, for example, he puts out a message, sends Sean Spicer, his surrogates, Kellyanne Conway out to defend it, and then later on, like in a tweet or something, completely changes it. And then, of course, what happens? It makes your staff look like morons. Or it makes them look like absolute liars, which they technically are. For all points, for all intents and purposes, they absolutely are liars. But at the same time, that environment, working in that environment is incredibly toxic. And we've done stories on this before, how it's just a super, super competitive environment. Like I said, earlier in the story, we talked about Jared Kushner and Steve Bannon having the knives out, or no longer having the knives out for Priebus, because he has essentially been proven to be harmless. He is deballed. So, and that, again, that is super sad. I don't know how anybody would want that job, and it actually is a testament to how hard it is to find someone to replace him. Now, Trump has asked, by the way, a number of associates what they think of replacing Priebus with Gary Cohn, speaking of replacements. Now, Cohn, who is close to Kushner, and who is, as a Democrat, would actually have a hard time ranking Republicans on Capitol Hill. So that's a point against him, right? Another point against him is that he has a hard-charging personality, viewed as willing to impose significant discipline on the West Wing staff known for navigating around Priebus and freelancing outside of their main policy areas. Actually, that is a positive. That's not a negative. That's a positive. What's a negative is that, along with other outside candidates, Cohn is likely to demand assurances from Trump before accepting the job. So, hey, I'll take the job, but only if you give me X and Y. Only if you make some assurances to me that would include giving me some actual authority. Priebus was fine being your bitch, but I'm not gonna be your bitch. I'm actually going to, if I'm gonna take this job, I'm gonna have some power, and I'm not just gonna exist to solely clean up your mess. So, again, that's likely why Gary Cohn wouldn't take the job if they got rid of Priebus. Now, another person, David Urban, who's another frequently mentioned candidate. Now, I don't know a whole lot about him, other than he's a Republican lobbyist, who is also very skeptical about joining the administration. I mean, he looks at that dumpster fire and is like, no, man, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep taking money from my corporate masters. You know why? Because that's an easier job than dealing with that garbage fire that you've got over there. Now, other rumored candidates include top Blackstone executive Wayne Berman. Talk about draining the swamp, by the way. Trump friend and donor Tom Barrack, and New Jersey Governor Christie. But those people are no longer considered likely replacements. West Wing aides say, though, as with almost any decision in Trump world, that could change in a minute. Oh, please put up Christie. Oh, please. Oh, I would have so much fun with that. So much fun. But anyway, look, the whole point, though, is that as soon as they find a replacement, somebody that's willing to play ball, that is a yes man, and that has a good rapport with Trump, well, then Priebus is out of there. Now, the hard part is just finding somebody who fits that mold and is actually willing to do so. Now, maybe it's the fact that Trump is a hard person to work with, or maybe they know that they're not going to be there for long. That's why nobody seems to be stepping up to the plate. But for right now, Priebus is only there because nobody's dumb enough to actually be there. Sad. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.